Yo, what is up, guys? Here again with another video. I can't believe it. I'm not gonna lie. I almost didn't post this. I got a little bummed out about something. So, I guess quick little recap. I had a plan to go to a new locals, and that locals had an Edison tournament, and I also found out the turnout isn't actually that crazy. So I gotta find a new locals I wanna transfer over to. So I had to play at the same one I normally play at. Luckily, I played against cool decks. It was a good locals day for sure. Gameplay was pretty okay, and honestly, I had a match that turned out to be like a 12 out of 10 match. I could not wait to go over it with you guys. It was amazing. But I lost the footage on that one game 3, so that was a bummer. So I'm gonna post the matches. There was one that was gonna be awesome. I don't get to show it, and I'm kind of bummed about it. But yeah, but I figured might as well post a video than not post a video at all. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. So today, what did I do? Today, well, we're waiting for some more support to come out. So until that comes out, I figured, yeah, let's play with some fun decks. So if you guys don't know who the Water King is, he's kind of like a, OG like water creator, and he's built everyone probably knows his lists. Like if you don't know who the Water King is, you would know him just based off like the kind of lists you see from him, because his lists are always crazy. It's like here's a bunch of engine, here's a bunch of bricks, go play. It's like, he's playing he plays like 55, 60 card. I'm probably not 60 cards, but over exaggerating. But yeah, he plays like a 55 card list with all the engine. He plays all the fish targets. He plays Icejades as well, and yeah, that's actually what I ended up playing today. So I saw that he posted his list a couple days ago or so, and they look super interesting. And what's crazy about it is no one really tries his decks out, or at least you don't ever see someone like someone else competing with it. Probably just because it's so outside of the norm. But the Water King swears by it, and I saw the list and it looks super cool, looks so interesting, and I'm like, yeah, why not give it a shot? So that's what I did today. So I literally just played his deck card for card. If you look at his Facebook group, or if you go to the Facebook group, you'll find his list in there. There's only one card I changed, just in the side deck, only because I didn't have a third Flu Ross, and it was no big deal. And honestly, I think it was probably the right choice anyways. But yeah, we'll get into the deck list here. So like I said, 55 card list. Let's get into it. So you have for Atlanteans, triple Prince, 1 Infantry, triple Shrine, and triple Dragoons. So nothing really to say about any of these guys. This is like the bread and butter. It's the engine of the deck, and then just 1 infantry. I definitely agree with just 1 infantry in this kind of list, because since you're playing a higher deck count, you do want to limit the amount of non-playable waters you have. So I definitely agree with 1 infantry in this kind of list. Next to the Mermails, 3 Teus, 1 Megalo, 2 Pike, and 3 Squad, and 1 Gun. So Teus is pretty obvious. It's just starter, extender, literally the best card in the deck, one of the best cards in the deck. Like that and Prince is crazy. He still plays Megalo here. I definitely agree. Megalo is only really a positive. It triggers your Atlanteans, it searches, an extender now, and it's really good going second. Yeah, and it's a searchable Sea Serpent that we definitely need to have until we get Icejade. So yeah, Megalo is definitely here. He only plays 2 Pikes because he plays a bigger fish engine, and once you play other fish targets, especially another 4, the third Pike really isn't that necessary. You could almost get away with just playing 1 Pike, because the amount of fish targets you have, it's probably enough. So I do like that, because Pike is definitely a great normal summon for sure. When you have the right combo with him, but he's just he's another normal summon. And Teus also does the same thing as him, and you really just need him for the turn 1 combo, and he's not as necessary. I still like 2 personally. I would still always do 2 over 1, but 1's definitely playable in this kind of deck. But I like that we're not playing 3. And then triple Squad, Squad, amazing card, amazing starter. And then the 1 Gun. Gun's definitely a cuttable card from this list for sure. Oh, my dice. Yeah, Gun's definitely a cuttable card, but I understand why he chooses to play it. I'm slowly leaning towards I don't want to play Gun anymore, because I do feel like it is one of the slower bricks, but then sometimes it's just crazy. So I don't know. It still comes really well with Megalo, but you could definitely cut Gun from this deck if you wanted to lower the deck size and make it potentially a little more consistent, I guess. All right, so getting on to the Icejade cards here, we have a double Ran, 1 Shimura, 1 Acti, and 1 Adrienne for the monsters. So what I really like about the Icejade cards is, yeah, I will say they perform really well. What's really nice about them is, so a lot of their gimmicks do come up, where what the Icejades kind of do is they kind of fill empty holes in the Mermail Atlantean deck, I feel like. So what Adrian is really cool about is, so one, she's a summon off of your Poseidra. She's also a summon off of a Coral, and when she summons, she adds an Icejade spell or trap for deck to your hand. You're usually searching a Searcher, or you're searching a Cradle, or you're searching Manifest. Cradle will let you add an Icejade from your deck to your hand, not once per turn. So like if you open double of these, you're really just fine. You're opening just 2 of any water you want. And then Manifest, which what this card does is if you control water and your opponent has a monster in their field or grave, you can activate this, and then you can either dump an Icejade from deck to grave, or you can special it to the field. So you get like a free special, and it has like a hidden effect that like if a card's banished, you can banish this and banish a card or something like that. But I don't know how often that comes up. The wording's weird, but so like what the purpose is, like Adrian is a really nice extender, or like a really nice card into like very awkward game states where, let's say like, I wouldn't say Droll per se, but like maybe like Abyss Dweller. I feel like Adrian kind of comes up more because it's just more effects you're activating on field, and you can just really gather bodies that way. And like just finding ways to play outside of like a round dweller is really nice. Acti is really cool because what she does is when she's normal special, which she can be special off of Bahamut, so like that's always cool too. That's another thing. All these waters are completely free. You know, it's like even if these cards aren't good at the time, like all these cards are trying to do is assist the Mermail Atlantean strategy. And if you don't have these, then you're just playing the Mermail Atlanteans anyways. But all these like really do is just help. So like this is still like a Bahamut target. I'm sorry, a Coral enemy target to make Bahamut. It's a 4, and when it's normal special, you can discard a draw. So it's like Pike, where it still turns on like your Atlanteans and like your Mermails. But just having a draw option is really nice. Plus the fact that she can be a special off of Manifest. So let's say like you've had extra searches for Sea Serpents, or you have double Prince in hand and like a Manifest. You go through your normal summon Prince plays, and then eventually get interrupted, activate Manifest, special Acti, discard the other Prince from your hand, and now you have like a Bahamut line, or something like that. And then get a draw card. Like it's always nice to be able to just draw cards rather than search all the time, because like you can draw like a Bar Breaker, like that's pretty important. Let's see, Tremora, you discard herself, and then you can summon a water from your hand. That's really nice too. Actually, it's really, really cool. The fact that we have, as I'm thinking about it right now, I need to go back to my games and really think about that, because I did not think about that until just now. That what's really cool about Tremora is that if you can have a hand where you open Deep Sea King, and you don't have to have Abyss Keeper, because you can just search Tremora through Adrian or Cradle, because Adrian will add one of the Cradles, and then you basically have 4 targets potentially to open a Tremora with like a Deep Sea King, and then you can special it that way rather than have to play Abyss Keeper, which frees up the extra deck, which is honestly really nice, because this deck definitely, at least this version of the deck really needs the extra deck count, or the monsters. Like we have a very mandatory line. But yeah, so and just being able to like when you open clunky hands, like let's say you open like Adrian or Acti, and you open like a Prince or a Pike, like now you have like multiple starting like routes you can take, which is cool, or easy ways to extend. That's probably like outside of Deep Sea King, this probably isn't that important, but I think the fact that it can help with the Deep Sea King makes it a really nice option. All right, and last Icejade here we have Ran. This is an obvious one. It's at 2 because it's a nice card to open, so like you don't mind it you opening more often, so you're gonna play down a more consistent card count. It's also searchable, which is nice, and we played 2 level 10s in the extra deck, so the second rank can definitely come up just for that alone. So we'll get these out of the way. But yeah, one more time, this is the Icejade engine. Yeah, I really liked it, honestly. The Icejades were crazy. Next for our fish engine, because now it's like a whole engine, we have Deep Sea King Harpooner, Butterfly Fish, and Fish Porg. So Deep Sea King obviously is still like best card in water, for sure. I mean, this is how like you win going second. I think I maybe have used it too much going first. I think I'd always just like result to it because it's like the most it's like the easiest line to play out, I feel like. And I think it also saves a lot of, I think choosing to use this instead of Poseidra on your first turn is basically a choice of, do you want to use like your main deck gas first, or do you want to use up your extra deck gas first? Because I feel like, I mean, because you can recycle the Poseidra for sure, but it's definitely just more, I find it easier just to leave the Poseidra in the extra deck, leave the Gaius in the extra deck, and then just use and like just focus on this as like my turn 1 play to build like a couple rank 4s and a Dragite, which I really like about Launcher, which we played today. And Launcher is super cool, actually. Being a free body from the graveyard is awesome. Having the spell and trap negate is really important in this deck that I didn't really see until I started playing today, where I I was reminded of the self fact that we have a really hard time into back row, and so it does make sense in that aspect on why Dragite might be really nice for our deck. Just off the fact that one, it's just another Omni Negate, which is just crazy. I mean, it's not an Omni Negate for monsters, but you already have monster Omni Negates. You have Double Toad, so being able to have a card like Dragite, we can just like freely use on a bonfire and not have to debate it. That's really cool. And yeah, so Harpooner is really cool. In fact, it's 2 bodies as well, which definitely comes up. Cards like Butterfly Fish and cards like Launcher definitely showed it's a lot easier to make Atlantis in this deck, because it seems like it's easier to recruit multiple amounts of bodies. I definitely noticed that where this deck seems, when this deck starts playing, it has way more gas than the normal more Mermail Atlantean strategy, and so I think that was like the biggest takeaway. It's just you have to play some more bricks, so you kind of have to play some more consistency cards to kind of like off-put that. But yeah, so another one here, we have Butterfly Fish, where if this card is discarded for a water effect, you can just add it back to your hand, or not even discard it. If it's just sent to the graveyard, so like detach from a Leviature Dragon, add this back to hand. So like this card is definitely also nice in like let's say like Teus Pike hands, where you have to like normal Pike, discard a card, so you like discard Butterfly Fish. Let's say they negate Pike, you get Butterfly Fish back to the hand, and now you can try again with Teus. It's just nice in the card economy. It has another effect where if a card is sent, if like a card you control is like sent to the graveyard, you can discard a water to summon it. That didn't come up for me at all today, but the recycle effect I really liked, and I really tried to abuse whenever I could. And then the Harpooner. Yeah, Harpooner's cool. It being a tuner definitely did come up. I'm pretty sure it's summonable off of Coral, so it's it's never like the worst. And then it's also kind of like Tremora, where it can assist in like summoning like a Deep Sea King from hand, which getting into one of our other waters here, we have a Bishark. I believe at first I was wondering, I don't know why we're playing a Bishark. This seems like I still do think so, that this card is a little silly to have in the deck. It's not bad. It's just its consistency is what it is, but I don't think it's mandatory. Kind of like I don't think the Gund is maybe mandatory. I don't think this card's mandatory either. Although what it does do is it does offer consistency, and it does allow it to where not only do we have Tremora, but we also, and the card's a Searcher to get Deep Sea King on field when we open this card in our hand. But now we also have 2 more options, which is Harpooner and Abyss Shark, because Abyss Shark can get Harpooner. So I definitely think that is pretty relevant. So that's cool. So I do like that it has that consistency by not just 1 card, by 2 cards, because Harpooner is a way to get Deep Sea King, and now we have, okay, so I'm rambling. But yeah, so I really liked it. Fishes are cool. Fishes are cool, and your Deep Sea Kings definitely feel a lot more broken when you have all those options. Other one of waters, so we have a little bit of a package here. Moulin for the hand rip. Moulin's crazy. I Moulined a lot today. And then let's see, next level here, we have Uraya. So she is a discard herself and a water from hand, and then you can add a water from your deck to your hand that is equal to or more levels than the one you discarded. So if you discard a Dragoons, then you can only grab a level 4 or higher. So she can never get you Prince, which is tough. But she can get you everything else, so it's really not that bad. And she's another card that's not mandatory and just here for consistency's sake, similar to a Bishark, which now you can also think about, she also adds to the fact that you can use her to search either the Icejade cards or search the fish cards, like a Bishark or Harpooner, to then also get a Deep Sea King. So she adds that consistency as well. And then next we play Silent Sea Nettle. I believe this is only here for it's not the worst opener, because at its bare minimum it's a level 4 free body, like that's, you can't really complain. And then its recyclability effect is you can banish it from grave, shuffle back 3 waters. So there's also answers the coral enemy issue, where do you play 1 coral or do you play 2? Do you play 2 because it's almost impossible to recycle? Not that it is, because most of the time your totally awesomes need to be used on like Dragoons in your graveyard or infantries in your graveyard. This kind of assists with the fact that we just choose to play 1 coral, because this is an additional option of like recyclement that you can send off for Sidra when you activate his effect to detach 2 and then spin up to 3 in the grind game or pinch or whatever. You can send this to recycle waters, which is pretty cool. I do like that. And just being level 4 is really free. And then 1 Minstrel, because we love hand looping and looking at people's hands. And then now moving on to the Spell and Trap non-engine. Play 1 for 1 and 2 Aria. I'm so happy. I don't know. I don't know why I don't like Small World. I don't love Small World. It's not bad. It's actually really good, but I think it's only really good if you play a lot of hand traps. And so in this version, I'm really happy we're not playing the hand traps, and instead we're playing the Arias over Small Worlds. It's super free with this deck. I mean, there's a bunch of ways we're discarding waters, even if they're dead waters, and it's a lot easier to, in Arya, just being able to, the fact that she can search squad and squad summon prints from deck makes it to where she's no longer only good after or before a normal summon. This card is now good after a normal summon, which is really important. And then 1-for-1 because it's Prince, and why are we not playing 1-for-1? And then we just played the one Triana in one stream. Triana is a great extender, so we don't talk about that one. Virtue Stream, I do like here. You play so many cards that you're not likely to open this brick. And if you do open it, if you open it going first, you're fine. Going second, whatever. And that's it for like the main thick of the engine. Overall, the deck honestly plays really well together. I think there was a couple hands where I just opened water cards and I couldn't get to the Mermail Atlanteans. I also don't remember. I gotta go back to we're gonna look back at the matches anyways, and I'll be able to see then. But moving on to the non-engine here, we have 2 Prulia and 1 Fluros. I wouldn't be. I can see why maybe you don't max on the Prulios just because they're not overly strong against all meta. But I don't know. I still think 3 Prulia in the main is probably not horrible, just because it is a water and it's a 4 for like Bahamut plays. And then just 1 Fluros because, I mean, Fluros is broken. Why not? It's probably like the meaning here. I'm not. Probably also help with this consistency, not maxing out on these because these can like kind of mess up your hands when you're trying to go first. And then after that, it's on to board breakers. And real quick, he's not playing Ash Blossom, which was definitely scary to do because you want it for the Charmies. But outside of the Charmies, I really didn't care too much about Ash. So on to our board breakers, and yes, we definitely consider Imperm a board breaker here. We have triple Eclipse, double Talents, double Droplet, and triple Imperm. So first, just go over Imperm as the only real interruptible hand trap here. Everything else is like per the most sake just engine. But yeah, so as our only true hand trap, you mostly use it as a board breaker anyways, but it's nice to have the flexibility to stop your opponent in case they're doing like some degenerate stuff and they have like one place where you can hit them and they just stop playing. We definitely like that, and it has dual drive, which is important. But yeah, so just triple Imperm. All right, next here we got Droplet. Yeah, Droplet's really cool. I'm happy to play this in the main deck. It deals with a lot of like random like problem board states. It helps with dodging. It helps with hitting like cards like Caesar King, Castiras, Dweller, of course. Dweller being the main one. And yeah, it doesn't play great under Shifter, but I mean, just kind of take that. And yeah, so I like Droplet a lot. Would play again. And then we played double Talents. I saw double Talents a couple times a day, and Talents was crazy. Yeah. Talents did a lot, whether I need to draw cards, which I think it did help me draw into playable hands. And then there was games where I needed to take cards, and yeah, so it was great. And then played triple Eclipse. Eclipse was the funkiest one today. It didn't really seem to like hit right on the mark. It was, I will say, it was good into getting Abyss Dweller by Ryziel, just being able to set the board anyways, even if they Dwellered me, because he had to get to the Dweller by shotgunning his plugin. And now his hand ended up being so crazy that it didn't matter. But if he didn't have like the very specific like it was like Call by the Grave and something else. But yeah, we'll get into when we see the match. But what I'm trying to say is Eclipse was not bad into Ryziel, but not great everywhere else. Is probably how I felt. But it wasn't horrible either. It definitely it helped the match against Drytron as well. So Eclipse was a weird one. I'll probably try again, but maybe also just replace it with something. I'm not sure how I feel about Eclipse. But yeah, that was it for the main deck, and it was a crazy main deck. Honestly, that was so much fun playing this deck, by the way. It's just wilder. It's just Mermail Atlanteans, but like on a high. It's really cool. So moving on to the extra deck. So we got links here. Got Zealantis, King, Lacia, Coral. These are all the obvious ones. These are the only ones you need. Zealantis is crazy here. King's good. Lacia's good. Don't need to talk about those. 1 Coral because you can recycle the other one. And no Abyss Keeper because we do not need Abyss Keeper in this deck because we have so many ways to... We're so likely to open a Searcher to out our own Deep Sea King in our hand. Next on the Xyz, Poseidon, Gaios. You got to play him. Kraken, Dweller. Both these cards came up today. Both these cards are crazy. I finally got to experience Kraken versus Fiendsmith, and that is just a blowout. They cannot play when you do that. It's insane. And it also turns off Lebellion, which is also very relevant. So it just makes their plays really, really awkward. And so I got Charmied when I made this, and I made this in Shending, and it was just disgusting. And even though he got to draw a few times, it didn't matter. And then Abyss Dweller, Abyss Dweller is crazy because you definitely need to have a quick effect Dragoons detach. That also came out today in the match. You guys will unfortunately not be able to see the last freaking game. I did have a Abyss Dweller was one of the cards that definitely helped me get the game there because I was able to turn off the Fiendsmith Trap and Grave, and he wasn't able to, and he still had the Trap and Grave, so even if he changed it to Dweller, I still would have turned off the Fusion Scent anyways. So that was a huge play. Dweller was disgusting. And then Double Toe, Double Bahamut. Not much to say. Played Levy. Levy was cool. It comes up in weird places. I do like that Levy helps our Droll matchup a lot because you kind of get to cheat a water to hand, because it's not so much about searching from deck to hand so as much as it is just getting waters in hand to continue playing. Because if you go through Deep Seeking and you go through Squad and you go through Poseidra, that's 3 discards. And so if you get drolled, the Levy kind of helps you get those additional discards you need to keep playing your engine. Answers the trap, so it's just a crazy go first. And then, synchros. So we played Shending, Gamir, and Dragite. Dragite's crazy. Spell and Trap Line Negate. I loved it. And these two, they both came up today. This one came up more than this one, though. So, hard to say. I still think Shending is better than Gamir. I definitely think that for sure. But Gamir is definitely nice when... I think the only time that Gamir was actually better than Shending was when I had no play except Summon Ran, make Gamir, pass. Gamir is better than Shending in that respect, but that's like you're already kind of losing anyways. So I don't know if Gamir is needed, although I also don't even think anything else is needed. Maybe Porpoise could come in here over the Gamir, but yeah. I don't know. I'd have to play with it a little more. But yeah, so that's the extra deck. Other than like this, honestly, like you don't even need to change the Gamir. Like this flowed really well, and I really like this extra deck. Not having to play this Keeper was huge. And then side deck, double Nib, double Lancia, 1 Fluros, 1 Marksman. I'm guessing he's only playing doubles because he wants to be able to fit more cards in the side deck. I definitely feel like I'd want to max out on the Lancias. Marksman, I kept trying to come up for me, but it never really did. I put in the second Fluros every time I was going second. I would like to be able to max out on the Lancias. Maybe change the Marksman to a Lancia. Lancia never came up for me today, but just in general, I feel like I'm afraid enough of Malice to where I'd want to max that out. Nib, I don't even know how I feel about Nib. I don't love Nib. I don't know. I do like Nib. I do not like Nib in a deck that has so little hand traps to play with it, but I could see this being here for like the degenerate decks, so that would make sense. Like today, I played against Raid Raptors, and I couldn't do anything against this deck because you can't beat this deck with board breakers. So being able to have like Nibs as like insurance policies, that definitely makes sense. Then we played the Thrust package, but it was just double Thrust, 1 Sanctum and 1 Dimensional Barrier and 1 Evenly. So he did not play Sanctum, at least unless I saw on Facebook. I could be wrong, but I also could have been looking at it wrong. But I believe that this card was the second Fluros. I would have made this Sanctum anyways over a different card if I had to, just for Malice. And 1 D Barrier, obviously just want to do it for Ryzeal. And then for Evenly. Now, what is really cool as well as the Nibs are kind of an insurance policy. Evenly feels like a really nice insurance policy as well to pair, like, just for like the most degenerate decks. Thrust can offer a card that just cleans house. And then you just want these for like going first. Basically going first really strong. But I got to use Thrust a lot today, and yeah, Thrust feels crazy. Most of the time I was thrusting for Deep Sea Arias. I think I did Deep Sea Aria, and I think I did a Tactics, and I was gonna do an Evenly once. Those are what I used my Thrust for today. And then the 1 Call By for going first, just to add to consistency. 1 Droplet and 2 XYZ Encore. The third Droplet, just when like dealing with like probably mainly Dweller decks, or any other deck that Droplet would fit for. But I mainly look at Droplet and Encore as a Droplet out. And yeah, I understand why maybe 2 Encore versus like 3 Encore and 2 Droplet, just because Droplet's a little more generic, where Encore really only fills one specific role, does it really well, but Droplet does it just as well, or like almost just as well. So yeah, this is the side deck, and I understand the card count's a little off. A little off in the sense of I think I'd like to max out on the thrust. I'd like to max out on Encores, but he's just trying to fit so much in one side deck. I can understand where he found his ratios, and overall, yeah, I think it was a nice side deck. I don't know if I need the Marksman, and I almost don't know if I need the Nibs. Hard to say. Even Call By could potentially go, but Call By is just so crazy going first, and it's like, why would you not play it? But yeah, overall, the deck did really well. I didn't do amazing with it, but it was super fun. Who am I kidding? I think I played my matches really well, actually. The only time I messed up is literally game 1 of the first match. That was the only game I remember having an issue with. But yeah, that was the deck. This was Water King's List. It was amazing, and I loved it. And I think it's a serious contender. I don't know what to call this deck. I don't know what we call this deck. Maybe we call it. Is it just Water Pile? Is there a name for it already? But we're just calling this Water Pile. I'm gonna call it Water Pile until someone tells me something else. We'll stay tuned for matches to come, showing some of my silly games with this deck. And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace.